What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, DEADKING, Twiz. It's me. It is what it is. Uh, I just got done finally finishing All Out 2021 from last night. And gonna go ahead and just do a review of the show real quick. I took a couple of notes throughout the show. Honestly, I didn't really do a lot of notes for the earlier matches in the show. My real stuff actually more picks up around, I'd say the Punk match. Um, but aside from that, yeah, I enjoyed the show overall. It was very good. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so during the buy-in, we had the 10-man tag team match with Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, and Wheeler Yuta teaming with Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy, accompanied by Marko Stunt, taking on the Hardy Family Office, Matt Hardy, and Private Party, Isiah, Cassidy, and Quen. And they were teaming with the Hybrid 2, Angelico, and Jack Evans, and they were accompanied by the Blade. Pretty good match. Everybody kind of got their shit in. Great way to really set the pace for the pay-per-view proper. Also, the Butcher returned at the end of it. So that was cool. On to the show proper. We started the show off with Miro and Kingston for the TNT Championship. It was pretty hard hitting, and Miro went over proper, as he should have. He's on a great run right now with the belt, and yeah, it's great. Really good closing stretch to this match. I like this match. Following that, we've got John Moxley and Kojima. I can't remember what his first name is right now, so Satoshi Kojima. That was fun and hard hitting as well, and the post-match appearance from Minoru Suzuki was great, and it sets up a match which they actually announced for this Wednesday in Moxley's hometown of Cincinnati. Um, Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D, versus Kris Statlander for the AEW Women's Championship was a really, really good match. I didn't take note of the entire match. I do have that it was a good back and forth. I popped huge for Baker's closing little moment of hitting the Panama Sunrise, then the stomp, then getting into the lockjaw for the submission win. Also, as soon as she hit the Panama Sunrise in my head, I said, Adam Cole to AEW confirmed. We'll find out later. Alrighty. Next up was the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros in a cage match. Pretty much a rematch from that Triple A Escaleras de la Muerte match from All Out 2019, the ladder match, which was fucking phenomenal. Yeah, honestly, you stick the Bucks and the Bros in a match and it's gonna be fucking good. And this cage match was no fucking exception. Really glad to actually see the Bros go 2-0 against the Bucks at All Out. This was an amazing match. I remember thumbtack spots in the shoes, and I remember, I want to say it was Ray come off the top of the fucking the cage. It was good. It was really good. Now midway through this match, my initial live stream actually kind of cut out thanks to copyright from AEW. I went outside for a cigarette, come back, and we were midway through the Casino Battle Royal. I didn't take these notes during the match. I went onto Wikipedia and looked up the list of entrants and fucking how they were eliminated and by who to kind of try to break down this match. But first off, it was, let me just make the note that it was a good pace breaker after the cage match. It was great. Clubs are out first, and they are Hikaru Shida, Skye Blue, Emi Sakura, the Bunny, and Abadon. Skye's out first, eliminated by Abadon. Now Abadon is eliminated by the Bunny. Then Emi Sakura gets eliminated by Hikaru Shida. At some point in time, the Diamonds come out, and they are Anna Jay, Kiera Hogan, Kylan King, Diamante, and Nyla Rose. Kiera Hogan got eliminated by Rose. Then Kylan King got eliminated by Rose, as well as Hikaru Shida. Out come the Hearts. They are Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, Riho, Jamie Hayter, and Big Swole. Riho is the first one gone from this group, eliminated by Jamie Hayter. Next out is D.M.D, eliminated by Nyla Rose, followed by Big Swole being eliminated by Jamie Hayter. Then the Spades are out. They are Ty Conti, Red Velvet, Layla Hirsch, Jade Cargill, and Rebel, not Reba. Rebel is actually the first one out of this group. She's eliminated by Red Velvet. Then Anna Jay eliminates the Bunny. Penelope Ford eliminates Anna Jay. Jade Cargill eliminates Layla Hirsch, followed by Jamie Hayter, and then Red Velvet. So that's 3 eliminations back to back from Jade Cargill. Joker card is Ruby Soho. Pop, well fucking deserved. Jade finally gets eliminated by Nyla Rose. Then Ty Conti eliminates Penelope Ford, who then gets eliminated by Nyla Rose herself. Ruby looks just as good, if not better than she did in the E. The fans were 100% behind Ruby Soho. Thunder Rosa, eliminates Rose to a massive pop. Then Ruby wins after a good back and forth on the apron with much suspense. Good match overall. Honestly, I think Jade Cargill looked fantastic in this match. It was very fun. And Ruby's music halfway while I was watching last night sounded like What's My Age Again by Blink-182. Up next, we have the final fight, Jericho versus MJF. Jericho has live guitar for Judas, which makes me think he's losing. Side little note, I burnt my nose while I was trying to light a joint in between matches. So now on to the match proper. Before the match, an ad actually pops up down on the bottom for Chris Jericho's new book, which I have around here somewhere. I was originally going to fucking show this up on screen, but fuck it, whatever. The opening back and forth gave me Malenko and Eddie ECW vibes. The counter wrestling into the double drop kick spot and standoff. That was fun. Apparently the match was no countout and no disqualification, per the fact that Jericho had to retire if he lost. As I'm watching, there's no way Jericho wins, but I have doubts because you don't put Jericho's last match before Paul White's AEW debut. If this match was after Paul White's AEW in-ring debut, doubts would have been a little higher as to whether or not Jericho was actually winning. MJF hit an Acai moonsault, I guess. I don't know what the fuck I was trying to say here. I used my voice text for it. It says Jericho kerosene to a fucking foreign power, and it's a beautiful combination. I have no clue what I was trying to say there. I'll have to go back through and re-watch the match, and I'll probably add a little edit to this later to see what the fuck I was talking about. Then I actually put in that if I sound choppy reading that it's my voice to text, I had to translate. Every Jericho match I've seen I've seen Aubrey Edwards as the ref. That was just something I made a little note of during this match. She's really good though. MJF counters Jericho on the top rope. From MJF selling, there's no way Jericho wins. These are just my thoughts at the moment. Jericho hit a second rope jumping code breaker. Still got a 2 count, but now Wardlow comes down, followed by Jake Hager. Off the distraction of that little fracas, MJF hits Jericho with Floyd the Bat. Then Jericho gets hit with Judas. The Judas effect. And apparently I'm running low on storage space. And, yeah, so it hits the Judas effect, and MJF pins, though Jericho's foot's on the rope for the 3 count. Another ref notifies Edwards of the flub. Match gets restarted. There's a roll-up, which gets a near fall. If I remember correctly, MJF locked in the Fujiwara. Gets flipped over into a pin. That's another near fall. He locks the Fujiwara back in. Jericho counters into the walls of Jericho, and MJF tabs. This match was fucking great. Alright. Now for the moment that I had been waiting for all night by this point. Darby Allin versus CM Punk. CM Punk's first match in over 7 years. Wild Punk chants before the riff, and the crowd goes mild. They actually kind of got mild whenever Punk's song started, until they sang the lyrics. Then the pop happened. Punk finally yells, "It's clobbering time." I took note of the fact that he was wearing full trunks. Crowd was singing Colt to full effect. Darby sitting in the corner as the match starts. Punk winds up sitting in the ring crisscross applesauce. This is fucking amazing. It's so great. Holy shit chants before the bell even fucking happens. Right after the first bit of physicality, Punk gets a welcome back chant. The Punk chants were just fucking rabid. Beginning thought was that this match goes to a time limit draw. Darby doesn't win, Punk doesn't win, but they battle till time runs out. GTST's early, followed by you still got it chance. Allen into the post from Punk. It looked gnarly. Calling it now, Punk turns heel tonight. I don't know why I even said that. Clear chemistry between Punk and Darby, working through a rest hold to the kitchen sink. Needed the back rest hold. I don't know what the fuck I was. Oh, working through a rest hold. He winds. It was a chin lock into a kitchen sink to counter, and then he winds up getting the chin lock back in. They work out of the rest hold. Darby runs off the ropes, and Punk hits him with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker a la Eddie Guerrero. Abdominal stretch on Allen by Punk. Countered with a float-over stunner eventually by Allen. Both men are down for the ref's 10 count. They get up by 4. Springboard coffin drop for 2. Code red by Allen for 2. He just can't put Punk away. Top rope backdrop counter to a body splash for 2. GTS to Darby, sends him out of the ring. Darby's out of the ring, gets back in by the count of 9. Allen counters the GTS, and he was getting booed. Nobody wanted to see Allen win from what I was picking up. Then there was the suicide dive. Then Darby Allen with the top rope fucking senton plancha to the outside. He gets Punk back in the ring, climbs the ropes, does the go to sleep taunt, and fucking goes for the coffin drop, but Punk just sits up. Go to sleep, gets countered to the Last Supper. Punk kicks out at 2. Fast-paced action, I couldn't really keep up at this point. Punk countered a Poison Rana into the GTS and wins against Darby 1, 2, 3. Crowd singing Colt. It's fucking amazing. Finish made sense with Punk countering the youngin for the win. Sting out to congratulate Punk and to check on Darby. Sting and Punk both help Darby up. Darby and Punk shake hands. I'm not mad at the result at all. Next match was Paul White versus QT Marshall. I'll say 100% that I'm just not into QT Marshall, and I have seen that a lot of the internet fans are not along with QT Marshall, so this has no... Oh, I said that has no bearing on my opinion of him, but I will say that this match is perfectly placed right after CM Punk's in-ring debut because of the fact that you need hyper excitement to down the letdown of the QT Mark. What? I don't fucking know what the hell I was trying to say there. I was pretty drunk. Pretty much that QT Marshall and Paul White were not going to be well received. Something along the lines. They put that match right after Punk because I think Marshall's just not really all that over. I was outside smoking whenever the match started. The last thing I had seen was that White chucked out one of Marshall's henchmen, and it was just down to them. I was literally in and out for a quick smoke, and by the time I got back in, fucking, QT Marshall had been beaten by Paul White, and then I got a weird-ass tone from my Roku, so I had to restart and get back into the fucking feed. We see the hype for the Moxley match against fucking Suzuki. We get a Dustin promo, or a black promo on Dustin Rhodes. And also, there was the announcement that the Pac Andrade match that was supposed to happen on this night was actually moved over to fucking Rampage. Now it's finally time. Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega for the AEW Championship. It is the main event. Cage is, of course, the Impact Champion, having beaten Omega for the belt a couple of weeks ago in the first episode of Rampage. Omega is defending the AEW Championship. It's a grandiose feel from Justin Roberts' announcement. Then I passed out drunk. It's the next morning we were going to watch it, so I watched it this morning. Now I can go ahead and give you my thoughts. Match opens. Kenny tries to blast Christian with a V-trigger to open, but Cage sidesteps it, sets up the kill switch. Omega escapes. Then they start just kind of shoving and getting into the brawling. They get outside. Christian jumps off the top rope onto Omega. Eventually it winds up with Omega getting the upper hand because Callis is distracting the ref. And fucking Omega hits a double stomp from the apron onto a table that's laying on top of Christian. Then Callis and Omega set a table up. Cage blocks Omega's suplex attempt and suplexes Omega instead, just outside on the floor. Back in the ring, back and forth. Omega rigs the eyes as Cage sets up a cloverleaf. Omega's now in control. Omega shoves Cage off the top rope to the floor. Omega tried to moonsault off the guardrail, but he slipped and fucking tailboned himself. He played it off pretty good. He fucking tried it again, this time from the opposite side of the guardrail. He fucking hoists himself up, rotates, and then throws himself back for the fucking moonsault. That was pretty fucking good. Great recovery. Back inside the ring, Cage goes chest first into the turnbuckle like Britt usually did. Ushigoroshi by Omega. Omega up top, stopped by Cage. Hurricanrana off the top by Cage. Strikes back and forth after both men rise to their feet. One-winged angel tease. Christian counters. Cloverleaf attempt again. Omega counters. Looked like an attempt at a running Death Valley driver into the corner. Cage counters with a reverse DDT. Cage runs into a knee from Omega. Omega back in control, but Cage fighting back with a big swinging tornado DDT. Kill switch attempt. Kenny counters. V-trigger to the back of Cage's head in the corner. Snapdragon suplex by Omega. Then another one. Omega starts calling for the V-trigger, and Cage just flips him off. Then he hits another V-trigger. Oh no, he hit another Snapdragon, then connected with the V-trigger. Cage hangs onto the rope to avoid being pinned. German suplex attempt to the table from the apron. Now is tease of the Snapdragon suplex off the apron. Christian counters. Teases for the kill switch. Fucking Omega counters. Teases for the one-winged angel. Christian counters. And finally spears fucking Omega off the apron through the table. Back in the ring. Spear to the back of Kenny, and then one to the front. 2 count. He goes for the frog splash, but Kenny gets his knees up. At this moment, I had just noticed the blue highlights in Kenny's hair. Consecutive knee strikes from Omega. A V trigger gets blocked. Then he hits another knee strike afterward. Then he hits a ripcord V trigger. Tiger driver attempt countered. Roll through. Cage gets the cloverleaf in finally. Callis calls for the Good Brothers. V-trigger to Gallows, who was holding Christian Cage. Kill switch, counter to the one-winged angel, counter to the kill switch, which connects. Cage sets Kenny up top. Callis distracts the referee, or actually distracted Christian that time. Fucking Cage looking for the kill switch up top. Omega back to raking the eyes. Avalanche one-winged angel. Omega wins. And that's the main event. But we're not done yet, because the Elite comes out to the ring, and they start beating down on Christian Cage, which prompts the Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy to run in for the save, but they get beat down as well. Now the crowd's chanting yes. Oh yeah, now the crowd is chanting yes. We know who we want, we know who is here, give him to us. Omega gets on the mic, says no one is on my level. If they are, I've either beaten them, they're too tired, or they're already dead. Then the lights go out. And Adam Cole is all Elite. The crowd is going fucking nuts, but I noticed one thing as he entered. He came out of the heel tunnel. He came out of the heel tunnel. He's standing there looking at the Elite, and then, yep, there it is. Super kick to Jungle Boy. Pay attention to the tunnels, folks. Fucking Adam Cole hugs the Elite. He gets kisses on both sides of his cheeks from the Bucks. Omega quotes Urkel. Did I do that? Like, saying pretty much he's the one that brought Cole here. Like, fucking idiots. Cole has the mic and pretty much just says that the Elite is the most dominant faction, dominant group in all of wrestling. Omega starts healing it up again, goes to send off with a goodbye and good night, but just as he's getting to the end of it, Flight of the Valkyries. And Bryan Danielson is all Elite. It's not even just the fucking actual, like, Flight of the Valkyries. It turns into a hip-hop beat, and it sounds dope as fuck. It's really cool. Shivani says he loves pro wrestling. Bro, me too. Danielson gets into the ring, starts lifting all the faces up, so they stand off with the heels, and Omega just dips. Faces clear the ring to send the fans home happy. Hell of a show. Hell of a fucking roster. $50 well spent. Plenty of replay value through the whole show. Alright, so now that I've ran through the rest of the show, ran through all of the show, pretty much just given my analysis, my breakdowns of certain matches. Of course, it's more toward the end where you get more detail about everything. I'm now going to actually rank the matches from my least favorite to my most favorite matches of the night. There were 10 matches on the night, so it's going to be 10 to 1, 10 being my least, 1 being my most favorite. And in the 10 spot, we've got QT Marshall and fucking Paul White. In the 9 spot, we've got TNT Championship, Eddie Kingston versus Miro. In the 8th spot, we've got the 10-man tag between fucking Best Friends and Jurassic Express going against Hardy Family Office and the Hybrid 2. Next up, at the 7th slot, I have the Jon Moxley Satoshi Kojima match. The 6th slot is the Casino Battle Royal, won by Ruby Soho. 5th slot, AEW Women's Championship, Chris Baker? Fucking Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D versus Kris Statlander. The number 4 slot, Chris Jericho versus MJF, the final fight. 3rd slot, AEW World Championship match, Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega. 2nd slot, AEW Tag Team Championship Steel Cage match, the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros. And of course, my number 1 favorite match of the night, the entire reason I bought the show, Darby Allin versus CM Punk. Well, there we go. That's my review of All Out 2021. I'll probably work on trying to do a lot better editing of these later on, but I do want to kind of start doing a little bit more on, like, the review side of things and really trying to fucking, like, just open up my channel to more than just music. See y'all for the next show.